Welcome everybody, this is Jason and the name of this week's workshop is Accessorize Your Life Part 1. This is a start to finish accessory workshop in 2 parts. This week we'll be focusing on building the mesh. So let's have a look. How is making accessories similar to making clothes or other body shop projects? Like hair or clothes, accessories are assigned joints and exported as a 5GD. As with other types of body shop content, accessories are divided into the mesh and texture files. And that's where the similarity ends. How is making accessories different from making clothes or other body shop projects? The XML, that's the text editable resource for accessories, is the XML. There are separate XML files for each life stage and gender, and each of these must be edited separately. Additionally, each 3IDR resource must be linked separately to the mesh. But we will look at that in the second. To get started on an accessory project, we open Body Shop. We clone any of the Maxxis glasses, in this case just regular old square frame glasses. We give that a unique name. In this case I went with tutorial earring. We give it a tooltip, doesn't really matter what it is, and we just import it back into the game. Then in SimPE, we need to extract that mesh. So to get started, we open SimPE, we go new. Now we select that new resource in the resource list, then we go PJSE, body mesh tool extracting stage. We're going to get this pop-up. What we need to do is click on that browse button. Then we go to the Save Sims folder and we find the recolor that we created. That you're going to get this first pop-up, just click yes. Then it says not all parts can be found in the mesh. Don't worry about that. If you get that pop-up, just click OK. So what happens is going to extract all of the resources related to that accessory. So we've got the adult, we've got the teen, we've got the child if applicable. But we don't really need that. We're going to build, for example, an adult female accessory. We don't need all of those resources. So that what we do, we double click on name to sort descending. We leave the AF resources. We just shift select everything else. Then we right click and we delete those unused resources. Then we go tools, object tools, fix integrity. In the Scenegraph rename wizard pop-up, we just make a new name for the Scenegraph. We'll click update and we click OK. And we will get back to that a bit later because there's a better method for this. But for now, we just rename the Scenegraph, we update, we OK. Then we go to the GMDC in the mesh file. We select it in the resource tree. Then once again, in the resource list, we right click on that resource, we extract, we export a 5GD to our project folder, and we're done with SimPE for now. In Milkshape, we go import, Sims 2 Unimesh import 4.09. If you don't have the scripts, you would need Westhouse Unimesh importer scripts from The Sims. I believe I have that linked in the resource post. So we delete everything in the groups tab. Wavefront object, we import the body template and the accessory that we're actually working on. Then we move, rotate, otherwise reposition the accessory. In this example, I've got one of my buckets from the Harness of Toil. We just position it so that it's in the correct place on the body template. So it's just positioned on the head, but it doesn't super clip into the shoulders. We hop over to the joints tab. In this case, we're only assigning it to a single joint. So we just double click on the head joint. Then we hold down Shift. We hop back over to the model tab. We select the group, in this case, the bucket, I've already renamed it frame for some reason. So if it's not renamed frame, you would rename it frame. So we just select the bucket. We hop back over to the model tab. We select assign, delete the template mesh. And I have this special mesh called pip that I added to the resource post. Go ahead and import pip as an OBJ. And just as before, we double click on spine 2 in the joints tab, hold down shift, hop over to model. We select pip in the model tab, back over to the joints tab. We assign pip to spine 2. Then we need to enter comments for both of our subsets. I neglected to do this in previous workshops, and that was a bit of information, so I'm correcting it now. Why do we need to enter comments? If an accessory if it's a multi-joint accessory, if you don't enter the comments, specifically num skin weights 3, it's not going to joint correctly. It's going to be assigned to a single joint. So we need to enter those, and has tangent array is specific to the normals of the object. If you don't enter has tangent array, it can mess the normals up. So it is kind of crucial. We would do that for frame, and then we would enter the same comments for lens. That we make sure that the groups themselves are named frame and lens. We just make sure that everything is named correctly in the comments, and they're named correctly in the groups tab. And we can now save the model. It just has a Milkshape file, and we're ready to export. As the final step, we go export, Sims 2 Unimesh exporter, and we just give that a unique name. We export it out. We go back to SimPE. With the GMDC selected in the resource tree, we right click on it in the resource list, and we go to the replace in the dropdown. We replace it with the 5GD that we just exported. And we give that a quick preview. It looks good in SimPE. We can save and close SimPE now. Okay, so to put it into practice, we go create parts, start new project, facial hair, makeup, and glasses. We go to accessories. And we scroll past all these weird things, and let's just focus on some basic glasses. And we'll call that one, what do I want to call it? Workshop bucket head. And workshop bucket head. And then instead of scrolling all the way, you can just grab this same accessory, because I'm going to use it twice. Workshop plunger. And that's it. We're done with Body Shop for now. So we can go ahead and exit out of Body Shop. Then in SimPE, we go File, New. Go ahead and grab that resource there. Just select it in the resource tree. And then we go Tools, PJSE, Body Mesh Tools, Extracting Stage.
Sorry, what in the tree did you grab?
So you go File, New,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's like this
Oh,
thing that
all
says
res.
All Res,
Okay. Gotcha. And then, okay.
and then we go PJSE, Body Mesh Tool, Extracting Stage. We select Browse, then go to your Saved Sims folder, and we'll grab Bucket Head. You're going to get this pop-up. It says multiple meshes found. Just click yes. And this time it only extracted 4. So we sort descending. So we make sure that alphabetically AF is on top. That from the AM crest all the way down, we just shift select all of these resources in the resource list. We delete. Give that. Okay, sorry. Yeah, let's save it first. So we go save as. And I'm going to call that best practice. Always start your mesh with mesh, either mesh or mesh in all caps, and then a dash or an underscore. And I'm just going to call that mesh bucket head. Then we need to go tools, object tools, fix integrity. And I'm going to call this AF. Also best practice, make sure that you have the name of the body that is for in the Scenegraph rename wizard. We're just going to call that AF Workshop Bucket Head. Click Update. Okay. And that's fine. We're not going to worry about that. Then we select the GMDC in the resource tree. Then once again in the resource list. Tools. Oh, and this one has a rim. Okay, not a big deal. We right click the GMDC in the resource list. We extract. I'm going to call that AF base. And sorry. We're good for now, but I'm going to go ahead and create the second mesh as well. So we go File, New, click that All Res, and we go Tools, PJSE, Body Mesh Tools, Extracting Stage. We click Browse. We go to Saved Sims. This time we grab Plunger. We open. We get the same message as before, and it's going to extract the same resources as before. It's already sorted, so we just grab from the AM crest. We shift select all the way down to the bottom. We go delete. Then let's save. And we'll just call that one Plunger. For some reason, it's not completely loading my file table. Okay, so we go Tools, Object Tools, Fix Integrity. And we just call that AF. If you're creating an accessory for a head or for right or left hand, it usually doesn't matter. In most cases, it can be universal for male and female. If it's just glued to one joint like the right hand, it doesn't have to be there doesn't have to be a separate mesh for male and female. So we just update, we okay. Ignore the pop-up. Yeah, we give that a quick save.
Is it because the heads are different shapes? That you need different meshes.
Sometimes, yes. Like for I've had helmets or goggles where they're in just slightly different positions and you have to create a separate mesh. But for example, the bucket head, it's such a, it's super doesn't need a separate male mesh because they're so, it doesn't really, the position of the head doesn't really affect how the bucket is jointed, or it doesn't clip into the face like goggles would, for example.
Okay.
Sorry, that was a horrible explanation. So we go to Milkshape. We go File, Import, Sims to Unimesh, Import, and then we go to our project folder, and we import AF Base. We go to the Groups tab. We delete everything. Then we go File, Import, Wavefront. And I'm going to do AF Helmet Mannequin. This is just a basic AF shape. And I'm going to go Import, Wavefront, and let's grab bucket 1. And that's already named frame. That's why I didn't rename it. Okay, so we grab the bucket. Then we go to the modeling tab. Let's move it first. So we just kind of scoot it up relatively close to where it needs to be. Then we go to rotate. So we just rotate it in this viewport. Okay, that handle is what's funky. The handle is kind of clipping into the chest. I did not notice that. Okay, so let's Control Z. Let's rotate on the X 180 degrees. So the handle is now straight up and down. Now, in the top viewport, just kind of scoot this around just till the handle is straight. Doesn't have to be perfect. And now we can rotate it like that, and the handle doesn't quite clip into the chest, but we do need to move it up a little. So we just want to move it until it's no longer clipping into the back. And then you can see just kind of resting on the nape of the neck there. You can see this is, okay, because we rotated it, we now have some shading issues. What we do there, and you would need a separate plugin for this. We go to Cat's Normal Smoother. And that fixes our shading issues. Okay, so for this one, yeah, the male mesh is going to be here. It's not going to cause an issue with forehead clipping. The heads are relatively in the same position. We don't need to do anything special. So we don't need a separate male mesh. Then we go to joints. We find head. We double click on head, and it should highlight, it should appear as green. Then we go over to, we hold down shift, we go back over to the groups tab, and we select frame. Go to joints, and we assign. And then another thing that we can do, we can check this bottom box to the one that says draw vertices with bone colors. And we can see that it's 100% assigned to the head joint. Okay, so we don't need this template anymore. And let's hide frame for now. And let's go edit, select none. Now what we need to do, because this also has a rim, we need to create groups for the frame and the lens and the rim. So now we go import, wavefront object, and we grab pip. What pip is just this tiny little square that you can, I don't even think you can see it. We select pip. I don't see it being selected. I'm just going to go select none. We go to joints, find the spine 2 joint and double click on it. Then go back, hold down shift, go to the groups tab, select pip. It should be named figure right now. Back to the joints tab, assign. And then we select none. Back to the groups tab, rename that lens. Then select none and then select lens. And we go edit, duplicate selection, and it's going to add another group. We just rename that group rim. I assigned the joints first, so I don't have to go back and assign them separately for the rim. It's a direct clone of lens, so it's going to retain whatever lens had. And this is a new twist in the workshop because I did not plan to clone from an accessory that has 3 groups. So I included a notepad in the workshop resource post, and it's quick copy notes for the accessory comments. So I'm just going to highlight the comments for frame. I go Control C. Then I select frame in the groups tab. I go to comments and I just paste that. Then in lens, I paste the same thing and I just changed the model name to lens. Because it's an accessory, we're not dealing with morph, so it's super easy. We just rename that lens and we go okay. Then we select rim. We comment and we rename that rim. We'll unhide all. And there you have it. Going to call that bucket head.
If you didn't have something selected.
Cats, no, it should show up regardless. So even when I don't have anything selected,
Okay.
I've got Cat's Normal Smoother in my vertex menu.
So does that just help with it, or is that does it help with it visually, or is it
yes, because it fixes your shading issue. So you rotate the mesh, and for some reason in Milkshape, whenever you rotate or move or scale, it messes with the shading, particularly when you rotate. So once you've repositioned it, it's best practice just to hit it with Cat's Normal Smoother. Okay, so let's export that. We go export, Sims to Unimesh exporter, and I'm going to call that workshop-AF plunger. It doesn't super matter what you call the 5GD, and I will explain why in a bit here. and we grab bucket head. We go File, Export, Unimesh, and I'm just going to call that workshop-af-buckethead. And we're good in Milkshape. Okay, so back to SimPE. We open our mesh. We select the GMDC in the resource tree. We select the GMDC in the resource list. And then we go right click on the GMDC. We replace in the dropdown. We find bucket head. And we preview. And I think it's the way that I built the mesh. Something is messed up here. Okay, parent crest was not found. So we can see the object, but it's not linked to a skeleton. That's fine. We commit and we save. And we open the plunger. Same thing. Select the GMDC here in the resource tree. Once again, in the resource list, we right click, we replace, and plunger. And then other people, the old school method would be to mess with the TGI here, but I'm not going to mess with that, and I'll tell you why. So we just get that a quick save. Now, this is my secret weapon for accessories. This is Scenegraph Plus. I believe 2.4 is the latest version. But let's find out. Select these two packages. Okay. This is weird. So let's delete all of this stuff after Buckethead. And we can see the shape cannot find the GMND for some reason. So we hold down Alt. Sorry, which one is it? Control? No. Okay, you have to hold Control and Alt at the same time. We just shimmy that over. We hold down our Shift until we see that dotted line there. Then copy SG name from parent. And we grab that GMDC and we shimmy it over. We hold down our Shift until we see that dotted line, and then we release. It didn't dock. Okay, now it docked. Then we copy SG name from parent. Give that a quick save. And now it looks correct. We don't see anything grayed out. All of the resources look correct. So Scenegraph Plus is the way to go. Let's do the same thing with Plunger. Let's fix our issues in the GMDC. So I hold Control and Alt to shimmy that over. Sorry, we hold down Shift until we get that dotted line and it docks. Let's correct the crest name. So delete everything after Plunger. Then we select the SHPE. We right click, we go copy SG from parent. Do the same thing with the GMND. Then we grab the GMDC, we shimmy it over, and we go copy SG from parent. Give that a save. Now it appears to be linked correctly. Okay, so let's reopen in SimPE. Now we remember, because the Scenegraph was broken, we couldn't get a clean preview before it had to load all of this information first. Let's go to preview now. Now we can see that it looks good. That animation skeleton is there. If we go down, if we go over to the joint hierarchy, we scroll all the way down, we've got this head joint. So let's double click on the head, and we can see that the bucket is 100% aligned with the head. Let's do plunger. So we open plunger, we select the GMDC in the resource list, or in the tree in the list. Then once again, we preview. And now we've got the animation skeleton. Now it is 100% fixed. We scroll down to right hand. We can see that the plunger is aligned with the right hand. And that's it. That's how you would, that's the mesh part. Next week, we build the recolors for this, and we link the recolors to the meshes. And we edit the recolors as well.
I have a question. If you're doing, and I know you have an upcoming workshop on like jewelry specifically, if you're doing a jewelry, do you prefer making it as an accessory or as an actual like bon voyage type jewelry?
To be honest, I do not use jewelry all that much.
Oh, okay.
And my reasoning is a lot of what I do is storytelling props. So it doesn't make sense to have a video camera categorized as vacation jewelry, for example, or Zweihander or a mall,
Anything
or
holding.
Yeah, anything that they hold in the right hand or the left hand, or even helmets, like it wouldn't make sense to categorize a soldier's helmet from Combate Moderno or any of the barbarian helmets as jewelry. It has its uses, and like, for example, when we do get to the jewelry workshop, I will explain that, but I just don't use it very frequently. I actually have to go back and refresh my memory sometimes because I don't use
it really at all, but I can see how it's good for like if you actually do have jewelry to categorize it as bon voyage jewelry. But then like if you're a storyteller, then it's like you have to go buy it so it even appears in your options, unless there's like some kind of cheat to get all your jewelry to show. Because I guess I would rather just have something I can open up the like gussy up frame and just put it on them instead of having to go buy it so it shows up as an option with the bon voyage jewelry. That's
that makes sense for regular jewelry, but I think for me, most of the accessories that I make, the most practical way of deploying those is through an accessory box. So it's not cluttering up your catalog. It doesn't take you forever to find it, but you can add or remove it from the sim quickly with an accessory box.